Hey everybody, it's James with geometriccharts.com. It's August 20th, about 5:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got this is the daily chart of Bitcoin, BTC, USD on the Bitfinex exchange. I'm just going to use the daily real quick, just to talk about some things. So again, first of all, it's not investment advice. And then second of all, my weekend video, I talked about Bitcoin bear flagging. That's exactly what we have done here. We've created a nice little bear flag in Bitcoin. Now, each time that Bitcoin is bear flagged, it's not ended up well, right? It doesn't mean it's the end and Bitcoin's going down to $1,000 or $4,000 or anything like that, but it does not end well for Bitcoin, right? A bear flag on a downtrend does not end up well for Bitcoin. Here's another big one. So I just circled a ton of them for you. There's tons of proof on this chart. But one thing the chart's still telling us is that sellers are in control of this market. You see it with Bitcoin, you see it with the altcoins. Yes, there's going to be wiggles. Yes, there's going to be relief rallies along the way, but we are in a slow decline downward. Now we are at a crucial point that after this bear flag, which I think is going to unfold probably in the next day or two, we're going to start to drop out to the downside. The question is, do we hold this zone? This zone being right around about the 50 area, right in this area, which is right. Let me actually grab below real quick. It's 57.55, right? So 57.55. Do we hold that area or do we break to another new low? If we break to another new low, then that's showing yet once again sellers are in complete domination of this market and we have much further to go. Now, if we find no buyers in this area, well, guess what? We got to trek on down to about the 4,500 area and hope those buyers are still there. If not, we will slide right through and try to catch these buyers in the mid 3,000 range. That would be a devastating move for Bitcoin. That is fantasy land, okay? Anything under 57.50 is pure fantasy at this moment. That number has to be broken and price needs to stay under that level for at least like a day or two just to confirm the breakdown is true and we're going to continue to slide downward. Now, one thing too that's a very simple pattern here, right, is we have a little triangle formation here, okay, with the flat side pointing down. Typically, price breaks to the downside. So there are a few different things lining up here. We have retail traders looking at the big pattern, right? Everyone sees this triangle. It's very simple to see. You can see it on the chart. Don't need to draw the lines. A lot of people are looking at it. Great opportunity for big money to create a false breakdown, flip price, flip the script, catch a lot of people off guard, rip their faces right off. And that is a possibility for Bitcoin at this level, creating a false breakdown, okay? And then a whip back, another relief rally. Don't think it would be that high. I think a relief rally like so, and then a continuation down, okay? At some point, a lot of these shorts are going to get whipped off this ride, okay? They've been piling in slowly but surely, and at some point, sentiment's going to flip on these people, and it's going to rip their faces off and absolutely hurt, okay? So we're in that bear flag. We may still have some more bear flag left in this move, meaning that over the next day or possibly two, we could continue to churn up. But once we start to drop out, it's going to be brutal. The question is, do we hold above 57.50? If we do, I will be bullish on Bitcoin for at least a short term, right? I do not think we're going to break to a new high anytime soon. I think if we do get a rally, it's going to be very weak, like so, and then topple over and just continue this series of pattern that we have, this lower highs and lower lows. I think we've just now started this lower low process. A lot of the alts have continued to dwindle downward. Yes, they produced a nice rally over the weekend, but they are now starting their downslide. If they break to new lows over the next couple of days, then that's again a telling sign. And a lot of these alts have already broken to multiple new lows for the year. Very few still have maintained their low for the year. A lot have broken down, especially Litecoin, especially Ethereum. Those things are just sliding off a cliff. We're talking about two major coins in this market. You got Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin. I don't really need to tell everybody, but those are the big ones. These are almost like all three of these. I think anyone who knows about cryptocurrency, even if they're just a regular person, they hear it in passing, more than likely know Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. I've noticed a lot of people seem to know Ripple as well. But anyways, a lot of these have just completely got mauled. The bears have attacked them relentlessly. They've dropped significantly, especially Litecoin. Litecoin has been just brutally beaten down, and I think this is just an ominous sign for this market. I talked about it as Bitcoin made its run up. The alts were getting hammered, and then boom, you can see what happened thereafter. The alts followed suit on the way down and progressed even lower, and now everything kind of produced this little weekend rally. So now, the next day or two, I think is going to be a very telling story to where Bitcoin is going to go to. So I talked about the lower levels. If Bitcoin is able to hold this bear flag, hold the bear flag formation, meaning we break down, but we don't break below two new lows, there is a possibility we could be building out a base for another run back up. But again, I don't imagine that run getting much further than about maybe $7,200, $7,300. You can see that, these past few times have just all been futile attempts to break to new highs. And, there's just not enough buyers entering this market, right? Another thing I've noticed too is that the volume is popping to the upside and then disappearing, right? And I talked about that during this move as well, that we have this volume kind of washing in and washing out, washing in, washing out. Another thing I've noticed is that we've actually started to continue to dwindle downward, and that could lead to a pop, but another false rally in Bitcoin like we've seen happen multiple times. Pop, low volume, pop, low volume, pop, low volume. Maybe we hold this area, produce another little pop, and then a topple over. Either way, every single time we've tried to produce these false rallies in this market, whether the exchanges, I don't care who it is at the end of the day. All that matters is that every single attempt has been futile. There's not enough people coming into this market yet to sustain a higher high, higher low movement bull market, right? We just do not have that volume coming into this market. Instead, each one of these pumps is being sold off just as hard, if not harder, than the original starting point, showing that there isn't an unloading of Bitcoin, in this case, into this market from bigger hands, right? And then obviously you have the culprit, the mainstream media in there, playing the tunes of the sirens to lure the retail traders in to the slaughter. And I do think we're going to see that, I think we're going to see that again. The question is, do we hold this zone? So if we do, it'll be bullish for Bitcoin. Again, I'll be bullish on Bitcoin. If not, just got to let it do its thing, find its bottom, find its home. Once it does find its home, it'll start to kind of base out. And once that base out occurs, that's that normalization of the market, which I think we're currently in, unless we do start to drop lower. If we do drop lower, that negates the normalization of this market. But if we hold this area, we're getting that normalization. Normalization is essentially a big, gigantic energy coil of accumulation of turmoil. People are getting beat around like a washing machine. There's a lot of volatility. And then from that energy, big money starts to come in, pushes price up. A lot of people deny the push up. That push up gets exacerbated due to all the retail traders and all those deniers flipping on their bearish sentiment and then chasing price up, creating vertical price movement, creating a higher high for Bitcoin above 20,000. But we definitely have a long time, I think, before that. I highly doubt that's going to happen anytime this year. I think we're probably looking into mid, maybe late next year, depending on how things pan out, right? There's so many variables that the last thing I think anyone should really do is put a timestamp on when these things are going to occur, right? I'm not here to attract a bunch of subscribers and pump hopium or anything like that. There are key areas that have to be hit. If those areas are not hit, Bitcoin is going absolutely nowhere and it's going to flounder around, right? So I try to keep it as level headed as possible. Hopefully everything makes sense to everybody. Trying to talk short and longer term picture. Don't mean to drag it all out, but I just want to elaborate the points on what I see in this market, what I've seen in the market in the past, and how it all just keeps coming to fruition. There's a lot of repetition in this market. I've said that multiple times in my videos. If you know how to treasure hunt, you will find the treasure. There are plenty of opportunities that Bitcoin gives investors to take advantage of. Sometimes it's harder than others, like this recent fall off a cliff, the bear flag formations. Once you start to get these coils forming, bear flags, bull flags, horizontal price action, it becomes very volatile in nature and very hard to play. So hopefully everyone enjoys the videos. I try to lay it all out there as best as I possibly could for the short and longer term perspective. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your support. If you do like the videos, please like, comment, subscribe, follow. I will produce another video Wednesday evening. I think by Wednesday we'll really start to have a better, clearer understanding of what's happening in Bitcoin. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. And I'll talk to everybody on Wednesday.